Yo, yo, yo. What is up? Good morning, guys. Another beautiful day. I hope your day is going well. It's good to see you. It's good to be here. And June 2nd, June 2nd. Man, this year is going so fast, guys. So fast. Um, Day 14 of Valheim. Yeah, day 14 of Valheim. Um, and then kind of tentatively on the schedule is going to be Planescape Torment and then some Witcher 3. Yeah, so good stuff coming up. Good stuff coming up. But enjoying Valheim. It's a lot of fun. Got the third boss defeated yesterday. Shout out to everybody in the server. It is up, by the way. So hop in there, do your thing. It's been a lot of fun, man. And it's continuing to be that way. But we've got only a couple of weeks left before we'll be switching content, so we'll have to try to get as much done as we can within the next 2 weeks before we move on to Planescape Torment. Yeah. Again, I hope everybody's day is going very well. It's good to be here. Let's do what we do before we jump into our Valheim content, our gaming content, and check out video gaming news. All right. Let's go. Cool, cool, cool. Get that Java. So good. So good. I need it today. I need lots of Java. All right, let's get into it and see what we can find here, guys. We talked about this already. France banning English tech gaming jargon. Kind of wild. Yo, Mr. Little Bat, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? How you feeling today, man? How's your back? How are you today, buddy? Just got up and sore? Understandable, dude. Back injuries and dude, no joke. I never understood the gravity of that situation until I actually I've got a compressed vertebrae in my lower back. It doesn't bother me too much anymore, especially if I keep like my you know, my core strong, my abs and my legs and stuff. As long as I keep that stuff strong, it doesn't bother me too much. But dude, it goes out. It goes out. Oh, for real? Oh, bro. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. Well, what are they saying? Is it just going to take like rest, recovery, or are they talking something else is going to need to happen to try to get everything fixed up? That sucks, man. I'm really sorry. There's nothing that can be done for mine. I've just got to kind of deal with it. Again, keeping my core strong is one of the big things about maintaining, dealing with keeping my back from going out and stuff because it can happen very easily. Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just wonky stuff, right? Sometimes it doesn't take any kind of like um, underlying issues or injuries to throw a back out. Man, it can just be a weird twist, and because we have so many nerves that run through our spine. All of our nervous system, core of it is our spine up into our brain, right? And you're talking about just being able to like do something weird like that and like pinch nerves or what have you, right? Anything can happen, but especially if you got like any kind of underlying injuries or anything, it's really important to learn how to be careful and to deal with that kind of stuff. Right on, right on. I hope it does work, man. I hope it does work. Just be very careful, man, because uh, when you're dealing with back injuries, you don't always feel it, but you'll know when you did something wrong. You know what I mean? It can get brutal. It can get brutal. So I wish you a speedy recovery, buddy. Yeah, wish you a speedy recovery. Uh, keep letting me know. You'll be in my thoughts, man. Keep letting me know how you're progressing and everything. It's good to see you again, man. It's good to see you again. Um, we talked about a lot about loot boxes yesterday. We talked a lot about the French or France banning the English tech jargon, gaming jargon. We also saw this yesterday, a $30,000 gaming office, if you will. Uh, that must suck. That must suck. Yeah, 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 yeah. I completely understand that, Mr. Lebat. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that was like, um, again, I've dealt with that. I've dealt with that. Whenever I initially injured my back, and again, I have a vertebrae in my lower back that got compressed into. So basically, your vertebrae are like little square or rectangular pieces that are put into the column of your spine, right? With discs in between. Yeah, and my my back went out years ago in another career, a lot of manual labor kind of stuff, and um, got got so bad that like I could barely even get out of bed. I could barely roll out of bed. It was excruciating pain, and finally got into the doctor. They did some X-rays, and one of my lower vertebrae is now more like a triangle. One side of my vertebrae had actually been like smashed down, uh, kind of permanently. I don't know exactly what did it, but um, it definitely took a lot of time to figure out how to maintain it and get back into where I needed to be. So I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Just be careful. My dad has issues too. He actually my dad's a big dude. My dad's a big dude, and he uh he does a lot of hunting and stuff like that, and he hunts with like traditional. He's got some massive muzzle loading rifles, man. Like old school day, like packing the shot, the powder, and everything down into the barrel of the gun, and putting caps on the to yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he threw some discs out, man, shooting his gun. I mean, it doesn't take much. It really doesn't. Things you wouldn't think, things you've done a million times, right? Things you've done a million times, like my dad was shooting that rifle. All it took was you know, one bad set of recoil off of shooting that gun, man. It threw a couple discs out in his neck. It's rough, man. It's rough. Just be careful, buddy. Game industry's June hype season is quieter this year. I don't know that it's necessarily quieter, really. E3 isn't happening. That's one of the reasons it seems more quiet, right? E3 is not happening, but there are a lot of other showcases that are coming in to take E3's place. Um, it's not traditionally a time of a lot of game releases. It's just a time where we've gotten used to seeing a lot of big name kind of hyped up games give us more info or find out about games that we get hyped about. So I would say to say that the hype season is quieter, it's hard to tell yet until we actually get into some of these showcases in the next week. Uh, it'll be a little bit tougher to hold on. What the what? It'll be a little bit tougher to determine exactly if this is more of a quiet year across the board than any other year has been. But we won't really know that until we find out everything that has been released and announced for us yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I would say that it seems like it's going to be quieter just because we've had so many games that have gotten delayed that people were hyped about. But that doesn't mean we're not going to see anything or hear anything about those titles, right? Like, for instance, I always want to call it StarCraft, man. That's not that's not the name of it. Bethesda's new game. Uh, Jeebus, man. I can't think right now. Let me pull it up. Starfield. I always want to call it StarCraft, man. I played too much of it back in the day. Starfield. Yeah. Oh, dude. 8 replaced? Deteriorated disc. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Yeah, that would be terrible. I can't imagine somebody going through that for sure. Yeah. Can't imagine, dude. 8 of them. Whew. Or having like having your having to get fusion done, any kind of surgery, significant injuries to where you're having to have like fusions done or replacements or what have you. No way, man. No way. Um, so I don't know. We'll pull this up and see what it has to say. There's definitely been a lot of games that have been delayed. That doesn't mean we're not going to get some more information on those games, right? And as a gaming community, uh, we prefer for games to be delayed if it means they're going to be more polished, right? Still 100. Well, that's good, dude. That's good. Not everybody recovers to a good extent from significant back injuries, so I'm glad to hear that. Um, we'll pull it up. We'll talk about it. We'll see. We saw this already. Fake Bloodborne remastered news duped hardcore FromSoft fans. Yo, gamer, what's up, buddy? How are you, dude? What is up, my dude? How are you this morning? Yeah, we already kind of knew that God of War was probably coming. I mean, that's been the rumor mill that God of War was going to be coming to PlayStation Plus, so that's not really a surprise there. I'm not going to dive into that. Why blockchain gaming needs more rules and regulations. We will dive into that. You can watch all of IGN's Summer of Gaming on Steam. See what that's about, too. I'm going to have to start taking a deep dive into which one of these, or which of these showcases coming up in the next week and a half, we're going to be able to co stream. Because that's what I would really like to do. We will probably take time. I'll keep like the Valheim server up and stuff so people can play in it. But for the most part, we're going to be watching as many of these showcase events as we can here in the channel. It just depends on how many of them are okay with content creators co-streaming the events, right? So we'll have to find out. Warhammer Skulls 2022. Everything announced. Let's take a look at that. This is talking about like gambling, gaming stuff. So I'm not gonna dive. It's not gaming gambling stuff on the front of like what has been trending across Twitch and broadcasters playing on like gambling websites. This is legit like uh gaming terminals where you would go sit in like a casino and stuff. So I'm not gonna go over that. Brag gaming, that's gonna be the same thing, I think, right there. So oh, gamer, dude. Yeah, I know, man. Look, it's only gonna get worse, dude. You're just gonna have to embrace the fact that that is only going to continue being that way, right? Especially with the fact that so many entertainment industry corporations and stuff are that aren't already in gaming are pivoting to gaming, right? Gaming is it's big money, man. It's big money. It's a there's a huge market for video games. So many people across the world love video games, and I hear where you're coming from, dude. We talk about that a lot, but you're just gonna have to brace for the fact that it's it the number of games that are being created on a yearly basis is only going to increase, man. It's only going to increase. That's just the way it is, man. Yeah, I know. That's what I'll never get through my library, you know. There's so many great games I want to play and stream and play along with you guys, and I'll never get to them all. That's just a reality that I've embraced, you know. So, yeah, I know. I know. It's rough. I'm not going to dive into this, but we've talked about this a lot here lately too. The fact that, I mean, across the board, gaming has become very entrenched in education from, um, you know, video game creation across the board, whether it be, um, you know, design of games, the coding behind the games, you name it, all encompassing music composition for games. There's legit classes being taught just on how to compose music specifically for video games, right? Um, Graphic design, you name it, all encompassing. It's being taught more and more and more through all levels of education, and not only that, but it's being embraced as an actual sport nowadays too. So you're seeing many educational institutions incorporate and create these teams like any other sports team or even debate team or what have you. Same thing. They're creating, they're like having tryouts and creating these teams of competitive video game players and stuff, so they can go travel or not. You don't even have to travel necessarily, but I'm sure for tournaments they'll do that and play against other teams, other schools, things like that. It's pretty amazing. It really is. Apple made more money from gaming than Microsoft and Nintendo. Um, if you're not aware, Apple makes an absurd amount of money off of its App Store. And a large contributor to that is mobile gaming apps. And I'm guessing that is where the majority of their money is coming from because Apple is not. They are pivoting into gaming. They're trying to create their own console right now to compete with like Xbox and PlayStation and Switch. Uh, they've actually like earlier in the year we had read some news about them kind of scalping some I don't know if that's the correct term, but they've pulled some older some former Xbox employees that have helped make consoles over to Apple to kind of help them create their own console and stuff, and so they're really trying to pivot into gaming as developers themselves, as opposed to just pulling a ton of money off of everybody that wants to be on their app store, right? But that's how they've made the majority of their gaming money up to this point. We'll read about it. Rockstar Games Insider teases imminent reveal of new project, quote unquote. Let's see what that's about. What? Hollywood Gaming purchases popular Dayton food truck. Okay, we'll see what that's about. If it might not be worth looking at, but we'll skim it real quick and see. Let's pivot real quick. We already. I love this picture. I love this picture of Elon Musk. Oh, dude, have you ever like? It was just like a perfect timed picture. Have you ever been watching a show and you needed to like pause it to get a drink or get something to eat or whatever, right? So you pause it right in the middle of an actor, actress, like uh, being in the middle of saying their lines or whatever, and you just get like a real wonky face out of one of them whenever you pause. that is legit like what happened right here. But it is so funny, man, when that happens. It's so good. We already talked about it though. Yeah, Elon Musk got pretty trolled in this. To be fair, look, I could not imagine being somebody this high profile, and I feel like when you are somebody this high profile, and um, you're the head of major corporations that are very popular, and uh, people are. I feel like people are always going to find something to kind of poke at you about, or you know, kind of attack you for, because you're never going to please everybody, right? And um, just because you are that high profile, you ultimately you're just going to have a target on you. And I couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine being somebody that high profile. I would never ever want that, ever, 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 ever. I can't imagine having to deal with that. I would be so brutal. And I don't know a significant amount about this individual, about Elon Musk himself. So I don't know if he deserves some of that in the eyes of most people or what. I don't really know. But just the fact of being that high profile and having a target on you like 24/7, I can't imagine how old that would get so fast. So fast. That is a baguette beret. I love it. Check that out. Yeah, we've already talked about all the French stuff going on right now. They don't want people speaking English, all right? No, no more speaking English. You got me? Okay. We actually looked at a trailer for. Shout out to our buddy Metal. We took a look at the Scarlet and Violet trailer yesterday, right after the news segment. Let's read a bit more about what the new Pokemon game is supposed to be. In in telling details about it, gameplay wise, stuff like that. We'll read about that real quick. Looks like John Madden will be on the cover of the newest edition of Madden, the Madden series. Yeah, rip John Madden, dude. He was actually supposed to be a pretty good guy, from what I understand. So, um, and I don't think he's been. Dude, I don't remember seeing Madden on the cover of a Madden game since like Super Nintendo cartridges. Like way back. So it's cool that they decided to go ahead and do that and put him on the cover of the newest game. There's always kind of been like a bit of a curse that has thought to go along with anybody that was put on the cover of the game, which is kind of wild. Look into that if you're interested. Yeah, video gaming got its first major union out of the subsidiary to Activision Blizzard, which was Raven Studios. They unionized, they voted, it was approved, and it's not the first North American studio, but the first major studio that has gotten a union going, and we're gonna see more of it. You can bet on that. More unionization will be coming down the line for other developers for sure. Groups urge U.S. to probe loot box on EA video games. Yo, there we go. All right, take a look at that. We've had some talk just between yesterday and today of in yesterday's segment specifically about loot boxes and stuff. So check out that. on YouTube if you're interested. Or that was the day before, wasn't it? Day before yesterday, new segment was loot boxes. But take a look. Take a look. A lot of varying opinions, but ultimately, the majority of people see it as gambling. Yeah, kind of a bit of a scummy way to try to pull money out of people is usually the consensus regarding those kinds of things. All right, let's check it out. Last page here, and then we'll move on to all of our articles. Yeah, we've talked about this. We've talked about this. We've talked about this. State of play, PlayStation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've got a state of play today. Let's take a look at that real quick. See if we might be able to catch it. This again is talking about the unionization we just discussed. All right, let's stick with that. Let's see what we can get into here. Video game industry's June hype season is quieter this year. The games industry's annual June promotional circus will be a little quieter this year as publishers telegraph difficulties filling out 2022's release calendar. There's no Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3, right? That's E3. This year, no giant trade show packing the LA Convention Center in the second week of June. Some smaller events starting this week will make that void feel less empty. Many notable companies that usually held E3 press conferences are holding lower key events, skipping them, or in some cases, it's still not clear what they are doing. Sony PlayStation skipped recent E3 events, but will hold a State of Play digital showcase tomorrow. That's today. We've got this pulled up. We'll read that next, okay? See what time it's slated to show, and we might just watch it here in the channel. The event is slated to feature third-party games and PSVR 2 titles. Yeah, we've read a lot about their new virtual reality 2 coming out for the PS5. But it's unclear when Sony will clarify which big games, if any, it plans to release for PS4, PS5 in the second half of the year. Microsoft will air an online showcase on Sunday, June 12th. It's being labeled as Bethesda Microsoft Showcase, right? For the most part. It has promised updates on games from its Xbox and Bethesda studios, but what near future releases it can deliver are unknown. Most anticipated Xbox Bethesda games for 2022, Starfield and Redfall, were recently delayed to 2023. Yep, we knew that. We knew that. People that have seen and gotten a taste of Starfield so far were pretty disappointed. And I think that prompted Bethesda to go ahead and be like, yo, we need to delay this. Loving your PS5 gamer. That's great, dude. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, dude. I've always, I mean, this is not news for anybody that's part of this community, but I've always gravitated more towards PlayStation consoles. So, just as a preference. Just as a preference. And so I'm glad to hear that, dude. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. EA is not holding its annual EA Play Showcase, opting for more game-specific showcase moments like last week's Star Wars Jedi Survival reveal. Nintendo hasn't even announced a June showcase, despite having held one nearly every year for the past 2 decades. It waited until June 2nd of last year to announce last year's June 15th event, so it's not quite too late to rule them out. Here's another thing. Nintendo does Nintendo Directs about every single month. And I have not been impressed with hardly any of the Nintendo Direct announcements of this year. It's just been very bleh for me. Like, meh, okay, whatever. I got to where I don't even really care to watch them anymore. Obviously, if they were going to announce like a June showcase to go along with like what everybody else is doing in lieu of E3 not happening, I would absolutely watch it and hope for the best. But that's just kind of what I've seen as of late from Nintendo's Direct live events. Ubisoft held E3 time showcases annually in June for years, but a company rep tells Axios the publisher won't have another until later this year. Ubisoft could be one of the next big companies to sell. I feel like they're trying to clean house a little bit. We've seen a little bit of that happening. They've taken a lot of their older game servers off. It seems like they're cleaning up shop a little bit. And they haven't even released like any kind of dates for some of their more well-known upcoming titles. And it seems like they're being very low key right now, and it might have to do with the fact that they could potentially sell sometime very soon. I don't know. It's just a thought. A collection of multi publisher showcases might color things in a bit. Game Awards host Jeff Keighley positioning his June 9th event, Summer Game Fest, as a big moment for game reveals. IGN, the Tribeca Festival, and Netflix have gaming showcases on June 10th. More indie-centric Future of Play, Guerrilla Collective, and Wholesome Games Direct will follow on June 11th. Plus, there's the PC Gaming Show on June 12th. What is happening? Yo, I need to let everybody know as well. Let me see. Hold on. Sorry. What is that? Yeah. Okay. Um, so next Wednesday, I've got some real life stuff going on. Stream won't be up at least in the morning. Depends on how everything goes. I'm gonna try to get back and at least get a like late morning into afternoon stream going, like a half day thing at least. But be prepared for the fact that next Wednesday, the 8th, um, I do have some life stuff going on. Unfortunately, that is going to affect the stream being live that morning. So I'll remind people as we move along, and hopefully I'll at least be able to get like a half day stream in once I get back. But I won't even be home that morning, so I'll keep everybody in the loop. Collection of multi-publisher showcases might color things in a yeah. That's what we just read. There are the one-offs. Sega is hyping its next Sonic the Hedgehog game through a month-long partnership with IGN. That's Sonic Frontiers, if you're not familiar. Kind of like an open-world Sonic game that's supposed to be coming. Pokemon Company just revealed a November 18th release date for the next games in that series in a new trailer this morning. Yeah, yeah, we saw that yesterday. Shout out to Metal, our buddy Metal brought that to us. There hasn't been a normal June hype season for games since 2019. Many events, including E3 itself, were canceled in 2020 because of the pandemic. Publishers produced more showcases last year, though skipped having any in-person events. The bottom line, a quieter June for the game industry will still make noise, just not quite as much as we'd probably hear if companies weren't struggling to produce high-quality games through 2 years running of pandemic impact production difficulties. Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. But I think at this point we've come to expect that, at least to an extent. Um, the gaming industry is not the only industry that's been affected by the pandemic, right? And uh, but we've been dealing with it for 2 years now, and we're well aware that that's played a big part into a lot of titles getting delayed. Yeah, just because we're on the topic of yo, shut your mouth. On the topic of the showcases and everything coming up, there's a nice list right there that I just put in chat that will show many of the showcases, what times and places, times, dates, places that you can actually watch those showcases. Okay, how to watch today's state of play stream. Players can expect 30 minutes of trailers and announcements for third-party and PSVR2 games. Let's take a look here. Uh, Sony has a new state of play airing today as part of this year's Summer Game Fest lineup of events. Here's how and when to watch. Yo, I actually looked into the ad blocker that Pinky sent me too, and it looks like it's only on Chrome, and I don't use Chrome, so um, there's that. I might have to find a different one. Uh, Series of PlayStation related announcements will be taking place at 11 p.m. Oh, so 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern today. Woo! That would be late for us. So we're talking like 5 p.m. That's usually like a couple hours after the stream has actually ended. With the stream expected to last around 30 minutes and include trailers and announcements. So we probably won't watch this live today on the channel because probably won't be live at that point. But at least you know. The showcase will focus on third-party partners. Several games coming to a PlayStation VR 2 with Horizon Call of the Mountain confirmed to be making an appearance. What we might do is actually watch this tomorrow morning. After the... We'll watch like the VOD of the PlayStation event right after news tomorrow. We'll plan on that. Okay. Viewers can catch the stream over on PlayStation's official Twitch and YouTube channels or find it embedded below. Little else is known about the upcoming State of Play stream, although many are hoping for a new look at a number of yet to be released games like Final Fantasy XVI, Street Fighter VI, or even Resident Evil 8 story DLC. Titles at the show are expected to release across PS4 and PS5 depending on the game itself. Yo, Mamzelle, what's up, my friend? How are you? Today's State of Play has also been confirmed. Dude, can you like shut this down or something? Why is this? No. God, I can't even close that. That is terrible. Uh, Today's State of Play has also been confirmed to be part of Summer Game Fest, which sees multiple live streamed events taking place through June dedicated to video game news and announcements. Yo, Mamzelle, did work calm down at all yesterday? Xbox and Bethesda have a gargantuan stream planned for June 12th, which is expected to include updates on multiple announced and upcoming first-party titles. Players can learn more about Summer Game Fest on the event's website. Summer Game Fest has essentially taken the spot of E3 this year, yes, as it was announced earlier in 2022 that the week-long gaming event had been canceled. In other news, Game Freak co-founder and Pokemon visionary Junichi Masuda has left the developer to join the Pokemon company. Going forward, I hope to transcend the boundaries of video games by trying to offer great surprises, fun, and excitement to people all over the world, he said. Cool. Yo, this website sucks, dude. Get wrecked. No? Right on. Sorry. You pretty tired today from all the work? Okay. This is actually hilarious. People get trolled all the time with stuff like this because they get so hyped up about the thought of from making any kind of game, you know. Hackers know. You're okay. You're okay. False Bloodborne remastered rumor spreads like wildfire on Twitter. Someone impersonating the Nibelian Twitter account started a From Software rumor that got people talking. This is hilarious. To be fair, even though I'm not like a, I'm not a Soulsborne. Their games are cool. Again, Elden Ring's PC port was trash, but there's no denying the fact that they have uh, been a huge part of the game industry, creating some amazing titles, right? And really defining this whole Soulsborne genre with all the games they've made. Yeah, um, and Bloodborne is no exception. Many people consider Bloodborne to be at the very top of the list of the games they've created. And the fact that Bloodborne has only been released on PlayStation, there are a lot of people that are have been wishing and hoping for a long time that it would come to PC as well, if nothing else. And you'll see trolly stuff like this happen quite a bit. If you spent any time on the internet this weekend, you might have seen some news about Bloodborne Remastered coming to PC and PS5 this August. The announcement came from what appeared to be a widely known entertainment and gaming news account by someone named Nibelian, who has been on Twitter since at least May 2012. The news was totally fake, and the account, a Nebelian spoof, has duped numerous fans into believing that From Software and Sony are working on a remaster of Bloodborne. Developed by From Software and released in March 2015 for PS4, Bloodborne is a gothic Victorian-era inspired action RPG that took the world by storm. Didn't have the same level of commercial success as Elden Ring, but Bloodborne went on to score high marks from critics for its tight gameplay, atmospheric soundtrack, intriguing world, and Lovecraftian themes. For all intents and purposes, Bloodborne was a hit among series fans, with folks just dying to return to the world of Yharnam one more time, even after the Old Hunters DLC launched in November 2015. You know, just reading about Bloodborne right here, like the description of the game, I cannot wait to see the game Lies of P. That's something that I'm hoping to see a little bit more about coming up this month, is Lies of P. And if you're not familiar, it's a Soulsborne-esque type of game that is based on the story of Pinocchio. Like the legitimate story, not the Disney spun version of it and everything. It's very dark. It looks really cool. That's what allowed the fake Twitter account Nebelian to swoop in and start some Bloodborne discourse with phony news. On May 30th, Nebelian noticed the capital I here tweeted that a remastered version of Bloodborne is coming this year. It would include enhancements like 60 frames per second, native 4K resolution, and ray traced reflections, with Sony subsidiaries Bluepoint Games and Nixie Software collaborating on the project together. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's a really cool looking enemy. Yo, Mr. Little Bat. Yeah, it looks really cool. If you remind me before I start getting the gameplay going for Valheim, I'll pull up a trailer for it. That way we can watch it. It actually looks great. It looks really neat. I mean, just examine the above tweet for a moment. I already pointed out the misspelled name is a dead giveaway that this is fake news. Yeah, a lot of the stories that Disney has turned. I mean, that tends to be fairy tales in general. Fairy tales, traditional fairy tales, are dark stories, right? That modern day, they have been spun into these like fairy tales. Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, they're very dark stories that have been spun into these very whimsical fantasy tales of you know, completely apart from what they were originally. Yo, random mode time, guys. Which I traditionally am a fan of, like anti-heroes and villains and everything anyway, so like I love Ursula. I love Ursula, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very much. Yes, Memzo. Yep. We're looking for the in your face emote. Yeah. So, Mamzel, go again. Go again. I don't like it when people get that one. Get an actual emote there, Mamzel. Go again. Uh, you guys try to get yourselves. I know even if you already have a sub, you should play the game, because I will basically put it in a list, a queue, that I owe you a sub. So whenever your current sub runs out, you'd be like, yo, hey, remember that time here recently that I want, yo, what's up, Fat Pat? How are you, buddy? I'm ready for my sub, right? Yeah. So play the game. How are you, buddy? It's good to see you, man. Yeah, I'll pull up the Lies of P trailer after the news segment. You guys remind me, okay? It looks really neat. If you look at the PlayStation blog link Nebelian shared alongside the announcement, you'll see it's an archive post from 2015. Clicking on the link takes you to a January 2015 blog about Bloodborne's longevity. Even before actually going to PlayStation blog, there were several signs that this Nebelian isn't the Nebelian we've come to know as the industry insider. Still, because Nebelian looked like the real deal, folks happily gobbled up the falsehood. Some said it was the best news ever, while others used Morbius memes to joke about being trolled. Nice. Not everyone fell for it, with some folks warning others that the news was fake. Even the real Nebelian stepped in to set the record straight, saying he doesn't have any Bloodborne news for us. Yeah. Kim Kim just getting all the good emotes. Yeah. What is that? Dog face? I don't think I've even ever seen that one. That's funny, man. Uh, the fake Nibelian who goes by A1 online told Kotaku over Twitter DMs he impersonated Nibelian because his account isn't verified and it's easy to create a bootleg version of his name since it's full of lowercase i's and l's. A1 said he wasn't trying to start discourse. He just really wanted to bait a couple of his followers, maybe some more. But the ruse went on longer than expected. Still, A1 said Bloodborne was the obvious game to start a rumor on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bloodborne is a game that is talked about a lot on Twitter. A1 said Silent Hill, Bloodborne, and GTA 6, and a couple of other games almost trend or get a baseless rumor almost like every month. So the choice was easy to me. Bloodborne, since Silent Hill just got a rumor. I already did a GTA 6 one, but Bloodborne, I didn't, so I figured it'd be an easy choice. That's hilarious. While A1 found the internet's reaction to his tweet hilarious, he genuinely hopes another Bloodborne is in the works. Well, obviously, who doesn't want a sequel to one of the greatest games of the last generation? It was my first From Software game, and I very much would like a sequel to it or even a remaster of the first. As for the real Nibelian, he told Kotaku over Twitter DMs that he likes to keep a low profile, opted to give a more detailed response. Opted not to give a more detailed response, excuse me. Seems on Twitter, though, that he's at least somewhat bummed by the fake account. Yeah. It was all in fun. People got trolled. People got trolled. It's funny. That's funny. And yeah, I mean, it's easier to troll people about a lot of these games that, have had rumors forever that people are really hyped about seeing come back, whether it be a remaster or another iteration of the series. It's people get trolled super easy just because they're so hyped about it because they want that news so much. Here we go, everybody. Why blockchain gaming needs more rules and regulations. Blockchain games are soaring in popularity, achieving a 2,000% annual growth in the first quarter of this year. For the most part, we can attribute this success to its decentralized nature. As a centralized authority is effectively removed, gamers can independently own and trade their earned in game assets in the form of digital gaming tokens, such as cryptocurrency or non fungible tokens, and then just have all of that stripped away by either getting hacked or the developer of the game liquidating everything and just destroying the game. Yeah, have fun. All right. Yo, that's it. That's the entire. Am I tripping? Well, that's that article. Look, we talk about this stuff a lot, okay? Have there been people that have made a good amount of money on blockchain, crypto, NFT type games? Yeah. Yeah, there is. Fern Gully? Yeah, dude, Fern Gully had a gnarly antagonist. That slime monster or whatever. The that would like live in the like the harvesters, the machines and stuff. It was gnarly. Yeah, I like that. Um, Here's the thing, guys. My advice is to stay away from crypto, blockchain, NFT type games for right now. It is a very, very scammy situation. Is it possible in the future that NFTs could be incorporated in a way that's mutually beneficial for both the dev and the gamer? I think so. But it's a very, very, very volatile, very scummy kind of way that most of these games are being built right now. And you stand to get skamazed. You stand to lose money uh, much easier than you're going to make money. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Um, Tim Curry, dude. Tim Curry. Yeah, dude. Wow. What a legend. Um, was that him? Did he voice that? Is that why you really? Dude, I didn't know that. Or if I did know that, dude, I had forgotten. That's wild. Yo, he has actually had some significant health issues as of late, I think. But he's been I think trending upwards, doing better and everything. What a legend, dude. What a legend. Tim Curry, man. Yo, tomorrow, I can't wait. I cannot wait, dude. Uh, I love, if you have not seen this show is gnarly. Like, it is wild. Have you guys seen The Boys? This is a great show. And I guess for me, like I said, I'm a big fan of anti-villains and or anti-heroes and villains alike. You haven't seen this? Oh, dude. It's basically like this whole premise that most superheroes are actual a-holes. They are like the worst people. But they put on this front that they're the good guys, you know? But they have no regard for actual human life or anything. Translucent man remover. And it's like these superheroes will go around and act like they're like there for the greater good of humankind. But do they just slaughter anybody they want and get away with it and stuff? And it's really wild, man. It's a good show. But dude, it is made for adults. Okay, this is not a show that you want to be watching around your kids or anything. Yeah. Oh yeah, it does, Pat. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I've been waiting for the new season, dude, for so long. I can't wait to watch it. It's fantastic. It is really, really good. They've absolutely, the first two seasons, man, they absolutely killed it. It's so good. I highly recommend watching this. It is a great show. Great show. And we've talked about this before. There are certain shows that I feel like have not been done justice based on the traditional comic books and the traditional backstories of characters, like Venom, for instance. Like, Venom could have been such a gnarly movie, a really, really intense, graphic kind of experience, much along the lines of Deadpool. If they had just done the movies in a way that didn't cater to kids and try to make them PG-13 and stuff. I'm not saying the movies were necessarily bad, but they definitely didn't live up to what I feel like a character like Venom could have been, right? In those movies. This show is crazy. And this is a perfect example of how I feel like not every single show about superheroes or whatever needs to cater to kids. This is a perfect example. This show would be nothing even close to as great as it is if they had tried to cater it to a younger audience. Yeah, Fat Pat, absolutely. And I mean, here's the thing, man. I get it. I get it to an extent, right? Kids love superheroes. So, making sure that, a lot of the Marvel movies were, accessible to a younger audience stuff. I get that, man. But there are certain characters that just shouldn't. Like, in my opinion, dude, just like how Deadpool was. Just the first 5 minutes, yeah, Memzo. Yo, Metal, what's up, buddy? I was name dropping you a little bit ago. It's so good. It's not going to be for everybody, right? But I love it, dude. I love it. And I feel like they definitely nailed the Deadpool shows, right? And there are just certain characters that their story should not be dumped down. Yeah. But this, I highly recommend, dude. This is a really good show. Really good. Let's read this real quick. Metal, how are you, buddy? IGN Summer of Gaming is back starting today. We didn't read this already, right? No, we read the other one. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Starting today and through the month of June. While you can watch all the new announcements right here on IGN, you can also check out our show directly from Steam on our new Summer of Gaming page. Simply make your way to the Steam IGN Summer of Gaming page. It will host the day's show, as well as any links to games that appear on the showcase. It's yet another way to catch all the game announcements and reveals from home. IGN Summer of Gaming features events like Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest and Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, as well as our own IGN Expo with exclusive game reveals, developer interviews, and more. A full schedule is available on the IGN's Summer of Gaming Steam page, as well as in our full schedule hub here. You can already check out games revealed in the Warhammer Skulls Showcase 2022. Alongside Steam, you can watch IGN Summer of Gaming on the following channels, whether that's directly on the site, YouTube, Twitch, and more. Check below for more places to check out IGN Summer of Gaming below. Okay. Here, I'll link this. That way you guys can check it out. Drinking some cold coffee. Mine's getting a bit cold too, man. I'm going to have to refresh here in just a bit after the news segment. Okay, Mamzelle. I heard who was waiting for that to release on Amazon. That is what it's on, right? Amazon. I can't remember who. It might have been Mr. Fluff Bunny. And he said it was okay. Whoever it was that was waiting on that in the community watched it and said it was all right. They weren't super impressed. But you liked it? You liked Vox Machina? Warhammer Skulls 2022, everything announced at the Games Workshop event. More skulls for the Skull Throne. That's what I'm talking about. Can't wait for season 2. I'll have to check it out. Okay, cool. Thanks, buddy. By the name of the Emperor, it's Warhammer Skulls again for the second year in a row. Games Workshop has done an E3 style blowout showcase of its video game partnerships, both upcoming and ongoing. Below, you can find every single thing announced at Warhammer Skulls 2022. 13 main announcements include everything from brand new games, including a Warhammer 40,000 RPG, to updates on Total War Warhammer 3 and Vermintide 2, as well as fresh details on Warhammer 40k Darktide. Darktide looks really cool. And Space Marine 2. And I actually have Vermintide 2. I haven't even played it. I would love to play it with some people if anybody was interested. Someone has finally decided to make an RPG set in the Warhammer 40k universe. And that someone is Owlcat Games, the studio behind the rather good Pathfinder games. Really? Rogue Trader is a classic-style RPG with all the usual genre staples, isometric camera, companions to recruit, turn-based combat, and a variety of enemies to kill and locations to visit. Little is known of the story or if a Black Library writer is involved, but your Rogue Trader protagonist is set to be joined by a Space Marine, a Space Wolf by the look of the key art, a Sister of Battle, and an Aldari Ranger. No release date has been announced, but you can already buy a Founders Pack that guarantees access to the alpha and beta versions. Huh. We're going to watch this. Let's just... Man, there's just no getting away from ads anymore, is there? Anywhere. I'm going to leave the volume off right now just because I'm not sure if it would get any kind of copyright strike stuff or anything like that. We'll watch it again after the news segment and with some volume on. Are they showing any kind of like... Oh, there it is. Okay, hold up. Oh, dude, yeah, let's go. That looks good. Sorry, it didn't look like they were going to show any kind of like actual gameplay footage. You know, a lot of people love their 40K stuff, man. Yo, I actually hope they do a really good job with this. This looks cool. But I wonder how much like Pathfinder it'll be, right? Because there are a lot of we've got a lot of CRPG aficionados in this community, and the consensus I've gotten mainly regarding like Pathfinder is that there's not a lot of middle ground for people in that game. Either you love Pathfinder or you're not really going to enjoy it very much. Cool, man. Cool. It looked good. Looked good. Okay, bolt gun. Warhammer 40,000 bolt gun. Oh, dude, no way. This looks like old school, like Doom kind of stuff. If the 40k universe is suited to any kind of video game genre, it's the boomer shooter. The gothic, gory sensibilities of Warhammer just line up perfectly with the vibes of the original Doom and Quake games. That's exactly what we have with Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, tribute to 90s FPS games with a grimdark future aesthetic. It's coming to PC and consoles next year. When it does, you'll be able to slaughter legions of sprite-based chaos enemies using naturally a Space Marine's bolt gun. Despite the name, there are also other weapons. Just listen to the roar of that chain sword. Check this out. I'm 88.
Sports and racing exposure detected.
Yo, I can't even maximize this. What the crap? There we go. I'm always so worried about what kind of music they're going to be overlaying in a lot of these trailers and stuff. Sorry, guys. See that 8 ball in there? Nice. Magic 8 ball. Oh, let's go, dude. 3.5 inch floppy drive. Y'all still got one of those laying around, USB enabled. All right. Cool, man. Yeah. Very old school looking. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, new behind the scenes video. Um, Maybe the most eagerly anticipated Warhammer game, but sadly, Skulls didn't serve up any new gameplay for Space Marine 2. What we did get was a behind the scenes featurette, but aside from offering some mocap footage and some hype from developer Saber, video unfortunately didn't provide anything new about the upcoming sequel, so we're not going to watch that. Warhammer 40,000 Warpforge announced. Developer Everguild, the creators of Horus Heresy Legions, announced a new Warhammer themed digital card game, Warpforge, set to release on PC and mobile in 2023. Warhammer 40k Warpforge is a CCG featuring all the major factions of the 40k universe, including the Imperium, Chaos, Aldari, Necrons, Orcs, and Tyranids. Each faction is explored via single player campaigns, can be pitted against your friends in constructed competitive modes. Expect deck building, regular and time limited competitions, and fast paced battles. Huh. Okay, cool. Deck building game. Nice. Here we go. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. New cinematic trailer. Dark Tide is just a few months away. Developer Fat Shark, what a great name, Fat Shark, has set September 13th as the release date. And so there's not long until we can join up with co-op buddies and blast our way through the Underhive. While the Skulls Showcase didn't reveal anything new, we did get a new cinematic trailer showing off Nurgle's grossest creatures, even a little psyker action. It's my uncooked cousin, Fat Shark. Yo, I've actually I've got this on my wish list right now in Steam. This looks like this could be cool. Let's take a look at their new cinematic real quick. I love. Look at the logo is great too. Fat Shark, it's so good. Let me see here.
It's time to try new tactics. Something different. Something desperate.
I'm not wearing my headset, man. I've had so like just chronic headaches from being sick, man.
Because you have nothing left.
I don't want to wear my headset right now. Sick. That's a sick helm, man. Love it.
So you're the scum we're counting on now. And if it's come to this, then God Emperor help us all.
Rejects will rise. September 13th. Cool. I knew it didn't have long. That's nice. Cool. Hopefully it's good. Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. This will be an expansion, yeah. As expected, Creative Assembly will assemble all three of its Total War Warhammer games together in order to create a massive campaign with every single faction involved, called Immortal Empires. It is set to enter open beta in Q3 of this year. A new trailer showed off the mode in cinematic action, with most of the factions from across the trilogy present, correct, and firing magic arrows, missiles, hellfire at each other. Cool. Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate, Demon Hunters. This actually, I think I've seen this as well. New Skulls weapon. Oh no, this game's already released, right? Yeah. Complex Games popped into the Skulls showcase just to show off an accolades trailer for the recently released and well-reviewed Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. But as an extra tidbit, it announced that a new weapon has been added to the game in honor of Warhammer Skulls, the Ward Osseous, a new nemesis warding stave for your Grey Knights to wield. Cool. This is the one that got a bit of. You thought that looked odd? You talking about the Dark Tide? Dark Tide, yeah. The thing is, look, it's so hard for me to put very much stock in a game when all I'm seeing is cinematics. You know, companies have gotten very, very good at making cinematics. They have for a long time now. Gameplay is what I need. I need to see gameplay, and I love a good cinematic, but I'm not going to put much stock into it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it looks neat. Looks neat. Warhammer 40,000 Shoot Us, Blood and Teeth. What? A new gameplay trailer for the orc-focused 2D shooter Warhammer 40k Shoot Us, Blood and Teeth was shown off, but the big news is that the game finally has a release date. Naturally, it's coming out in October. Fantastic. We mean October 20th of this year. It'll be available on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. A newly updated demo is available now on Steam and unlocks the Weird Boy class. Let's see what this is.
Congratulations.
Oh, the ads, dude. Yeah, I don't know about the music stuff, so we'll keep it off. I bet this is absolute madness. Just chaos, man. It looks like it could be fun with some like play with your friends though. Just total carnage, man. Nice. Look at that. Cool. Cool, cool. Uh okay, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Belacor Belacor Chaos Waste expansion announced. Fat Shark continues to roll out support for Vermintide 2. This time it's a free update for the roguelite style Chaos Wastes mode. The Belacor expansion, Belacor, I think, expansion will be available from June 14th. Cool. I would love to play some Vermintide too, man. Um, I own it. I've never really even really played it, but I would like to get down on it if we had enough people in the community that wanted to play it. Blood Bowl 3, the new beta, and 2 new teams announced. Okay. Uh, Nacon and Cyanide Studio have announced that a new beta for Blood Bowl 3 will be held from today until June 12th on Steam. 6 playable factions will be available in the beta: Black Orcs, Imperial Nobility, Elven Union, Dwarfs, Chaos Renegades, and Old World Alliance. Final 2 factions on that list are brand new teams, never before seen in a Blood Bowl video game. These new teams are also unusual in that they are made up of characters from other teams. The Old World Alliance, for instance, is a collective of humans, dwarfs, halflings, and even a tree man. Okay, cool. The idea is to offer flexibility while also creating a little friction between the individual players. For instance, dwarves may not play nicely with humans. Same idea applies to the Chaos Renegades, which feature a lineup comprising greenskins, Skaven, Dark Elves, and Chaos. Okay. Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector, new Sisters of Battle faction, and Demonic Incursion mode. Slytherin Software announced that Warhammer 40k Battle Sector will receive a new faction pack DLC, which will add the Sisters of Battle to the game. At last year's Warhammer Skulls, it was announced that the Adepta Sororitas would be part of the game, but only a small handful of units were available in the base game. Sisters of Battle DLC will add them as a full faction, meaning we can expect penitent engines. Additionally, a free update coming at the same time as the Sisters of Battle DLC will add a new Endless Horde mode called Demonic Incursion. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr upgraded. Oh, upgraded for PS5 and Xbox Series XS. Yo, our buddy Gamer Extreme has played a good amount of this game and enjoyed it. Neocore Games announced that Diablo-like Warhammer 40k Game Inquisitor Martyr will be upgraded for PS5 and Xbox Series XS later this year. The new gen version will include all 25 DLC packs and expansions, as well as enhanced features such as native 4K support, higher resolution textures, improved physics, and destructible environments, cross-gen multiplayer, and support for the PS5 DualSense controller. Awesome. World of Tanks Warhammer 40,000 Battle Pass. Wargaming has teamed up with Games Workshop for World of Tanks Battle Pass Season 8, which will feature Ultramarines, Death Guard, and Evil Sons Orcs themed rewards. Warhammer Mobile Gaming. In addition to console and PC announcements, Warhammer Skulls also featured a dedicated mobile gaming section. Pre-registration was announced for Tacticus. A new update is coming for Horus Heresy Legions. Cursed City is being added to the Warhammer quest. New modes and faction additions are coming to Lost Crusade. Chaos Knights are being added to combat cards. And Soul Arena is being updated with Captain Avelinor. And that's everything announced at Warhammer Skulls 2022. For more video gaming news, check out the Guide to Summer of Gaming. Yeah, cool. That's a lot, man. It's a lot. Nice, nice. If anybody's interested in taking a look at any of that stuff we didn't maybe hit on too much, there you go. Oh, there you go. Um, so again, Apple is trying to pivot into game development themselves, but at this point, Apple just makes a ton of money off of their app shop. in the amount of games that sell on there, or in-game currency that sells for those games, stuff like that. Cash shops, as it were. One doesn't really associate Apple with gaming as such. The App Store has thousands of games, and Apple's gaming subscription service, Apple Arcade, is also getting popular. However, it's the likes of Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, because of their consoles and gaming services, that are more relatable to. Oh, that's fun. Gaming analysts, however, estimate that Apple made more money from gaming than Microsoft and Nintendo in 2021. According to a report by Apple Insider, and analysts at Newzoo estimate that Apple's gaming revenue in 2021 was close to $15.3 billion. Number is more than what Microsoft and Nintendo made, but less than what Sony earned from gaming. The report suggests that it was Tencent, a gaming behemoth, that raked in the most money from gaming. Tencent, which owns popular titles like PUBG Mobile and League of Legends, earned around $32.2 billion in 2021. Sony, in the second spot, made $18.2 billion. Google also earned close to $11 billion from gaming in 2021. While Apple Arcade is popular, most of Apple's gaming revenue is estimated to come from the App Store. Like I said, Apple takes anywhere between 15 to 30% cut from all the apps and in-app purchases on its App Store. The same is applicable to Google and its Play Store. I'll finish reading this and I'll speak about this. There's been a lot of fur over the so-called Apple tax. The cut is charges from developers, as many have called it an unfair practice. Apple has strongly maintained that the App Store's practices have been fair and have helped millions of developers. Epic Games, which owns the wildly popular Fortnite, has been embroiled in a bitter legal dispute with Apple over this issue. Games clearly are a serious business for Apple, and the revenue it earned from it is a clear indication that the App Store policies are unlikely to change. First of all, I don't feel like a company should be able to say that they've made money from gaming when they are not actually in any kind of development. None of these games are their games. They are pulling a cut because of their App Store. So, in my opinion, specifically with Apple here, the amount of revenue that they've taken, which is being considered in this article as gaming revenue, should only come from their subscription service, Apple Arcade. That's it. Because there's a clear distinction between them actually making money on their gaming as opposed to them making money off of other people, other developers, because of their App Store. That's not gaming. The developers that have that are making money from their titles being in Apple's App Store, that would be considered them making profit or money off of their games. But I don't feel like Apple should be lumped in there as making money off of gaming when they're not on that front. They are just making money off of their App Store. It's a really weird thing for it to get lumped in like that, I feel. But there's no surprise, and we've known forever that Apple makes a significant, obviously, chunk of money because of their App Store. Yeah. Again, they're trying to pivot into gaming more with, for instance, Apple Arcade. And they are trying to apparently develop their own console to compete with the other major gaming consoles like PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox. But let me throw this out there too. I recently got a free promotional year of Apple TV Plus. Their platform is horrid. It is nightmare fuel. Their platform is trash. They've got some good shows. They've got some good shows on there. Their platform sucks. It is terrible. I've never seen one that bad. It is horrible. I hate it so much. It is not intuitive. It is always like messing up and stuff. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, Fat Pat, I would agree. They've put themselves in this position though, right, where a lot of developers for the longest time now have felt like if they want to get exposure to their game, where else do you put it? You know? So they've put themselves in a pretty unique position as far as that's concerned, right? Most people, if you're getting a mobile app, gaming or otherwise, whatever, you're getting it from the Apple Store if you have an iPhone, or you're getting it from Google Play if you have an Android device, right? There's not much else. There are others, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's it, right? Both Google and Apple have set themselves up in very unique positions. And, but I mean, here's the thing that I think is at least a positive spin is that there are a lot of developers and communities within the tech business that are starting to see how much of a handle they those companies have on this side of things, and I feel like the trend is that developers are trying to move away. It's just very difficult, right? It's a very difficult thing to do whenever that's where everybody gets their apps from inherently because most mobile devices are run on one of those two platforms, right? So it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, they take a chunk, man. A huge chunk. And that's why they make so much money. And of course, Apple's not going to go, yeah, you're right. You know, we, dang it, we've just been getting over on people forever. They're going to go, hey, we provide a great service. And in providing that great service, it costs people, you know? So, but I do feel like, I don't feel like Google or Apple, either one, should be able to lump in the amount of money they make on gaming as the cut they're getting off of developers' apps just because they have a huge app store. That seems weird to me. That should not be considered gaming profit, in my opinion. Maybe scummy profit. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know, dude. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. Rockstar Games Insider teases imminent reveal of new project. Rockstar Games Insider has teased that the reveal of a brand new game, Rockstar Games, has been rather quiet regarding its next game since the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018. It was the first brand new game the developer had released in 5 years, with the prior game being Grand Theft Auto 5. Rockstar is still riding the Grand Theft Auto 5 wave with re-releases, new content, updates, and so forth. But fans are beginning to grow impatient as they look toward the future. Look, fans have been blasting Rockstar Games for years now because the only good content that apparently Rockstar is focused on putting out for their live service games is for Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Here's the thing. I haven't played RDR2. I loved RDR1, but I haven't played RDR2 yet. I've heard great things. But I know that the RDR online community has been up in arms forever. Because Rockstar only comes out with significant updates and content for Grand Theft Auto 5. And there's a lot of people that still play RDR online. And they'll get just like these real minor, stupid like content updates that they're like, when are we actually going to get something significant? The only thing Rockstar ever puts out is for Grand Theft Auto 5, you know? And so they've been getting blasted forever now because of it. Fans are beginning to grow impatient as they look toward the future. Even Red Dead Online fans are growing annoyed as the game stopped receiving noteworthy updates over a year ago. See? Fans may not have to wait much longer for new info. According to Chris Klippel, a well-known Rockstar Games insider, a new project will be revealed soon. Klippel said he doesn't know exact timing or which project it will be. Most fans will likely be hoping that it's Grand Theft Auto 6, which has been confirmed. Rockstar confirmed earlier this year, that it's working on the next Grand Theft Auto, but has held off on sharing any meaningful details. There's speculation that a full reveal could be happening later this year, though there haven't been any reputable leaks or official details to suggest that's happening. That could be the project Klippel is suggesting, or it could be the heavily rumored remake of Red Dead Redemption, or another remaster remake. Of course, nothing has been confirmed, so fans should take this with a grain of salt at the moment. Sony is hosting State of Play today, this evening, and Rockstar is quite close with the platform holder. Sony confirmed the show will focus on third-party games and VR titles, so it's possible Rockstar has a new VR game to showcase or is willing to show off one of those rumored remakes during the show. Rockstar isn't usually one to pop up at big events, but did debut the trailers for the PS5 re-release of Grand Theft Auto 5 at PlayStation events. Okay. Again, the PlayStation event is happening this evening. My time this evening, So, and I'm Central U.S., so it's supposed to be around 5 o'clock p.m. I won't be live at that point to watch it, more than likely. So what I am planning on doing is probably watching the VOD of it after the news segment tomorrow, okay? Let's see if this is worth reading into. Hollywood Gaming purchases popular Dayton food truck? Oh. Yeah, I don't think this is actual video gaming stuff, so I'm going to hop out of that. Building off of what we saw yesterday, shout out to Metal again for throwing us the link to the new trailers for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video games coming out. We'll take a bit of a look here regarding the details that we can expect within those games, okay? New Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer features hot professors, 4-player co-op, and Lechonk, the hero we deserve. Hey, that's my nickname, Lechonk. The latest mainline entry in the monster-catching RPG series is slated for a November 18th release on the Nintendo Switch. I am Lechonk. Yo, what is going on, dude? There is nothing in here at all. Look at this. This isn't an article, dude. This is a headline, and then nothing within. Let me see something. What is that? They just want us to watch this video? I'm not going to watch this video. We already watched trailers yesterday. We can watch them again today after the news segment if you want. Or, I don't know. Here, we'll watch it. Why not? Whatever. I don't care, dude. I can't.
Hey, it's Jeb Biggert, social media editor for Kotaku.com. This morning, we got a new trailer for monster wrangling RPG, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The latest mainline entry since 2019's Sword and Shield. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be adopting an open world format, a series first, allowing your trainer to tackle gyms in any order. The region we'll be running around in doesn't have a name yet, but fans have noted the strong resemblances to the geography and architecture of Spain and Portugal, with thick lechon as a stand-in for our Iberian pigs, from which
It's me!
tasty
Lechon!
Iberico ham is made. Mmm.
Oh, yeah, baby, let's go. Oh, gosh, I'm hungry.
Where was I? Speaking of Lechonk, they're one of 3 new Pokemon we're introduced to in the trailer. The others being Pikachu cosplayer
I'm definitely going to have to make
Tommy
some food before I
and
start
Smart,
up playing
who is
Valheim.
perfect. We also
I'm
get
starving.
fresh
I need
options
coffee
for
and I
starter
need
Pokemon.
food, man.
It's
I got to stay
Squeakqueefo,
lechonky.
Suicune, and Quaxley. Eat your heart out, Oak. Unique to each version are 2 new borderline uncomfortably hot professors, Sada for Scarlet and Turo for Violet. Sada's rocking a prehistoric look, and her name is a nod to the Spanish word posada, meaning past, while Turo is decked out in futuristic threads, and his name comes from Futuro, all hinting at possible themes of time travel in these installments. There are also new legendary Pokemon, Koraidon, exclusive to Scarlet, and Miraidon for Violet. Most
That
exciting
looks
to
dope.
me, through the amazing
I like this
power of
one.
science, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will feature up to 4-player co-op. A series first. Could this mean raids?
4-player co-op,
like from
dude, that's
Sword and
sick.
Shield? Or 4-on-4 trainer battles? We don't know. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released for the Nintendo Switch Friday, November 18th. Which professor sets your heart aflutter? How would you cook up Lechonk? Let us know in the comments below. And for more gaming coverage, check out Kotaku.com.
Okay. Cool. I'm sure we'll hear more and more and more as we get closer to and upon the release of these games. I'm glad that Pokemon has finally started to pivot into the open world kind of stuff. I think they've got a ways to go. Everything that I talked about this yesterday, but everything I heard about like Pokemon Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus, was that it was good. They're moving in the right direction, but there's an amount of stuff incorporated in the game that kind of ruins immersion. Like, the depth of the world gets lost. In the way that, like, if you played or saw any of Elden Ring or, like, Breath of the Wild, those are open world environments where you can see far off stuff for a long ways, right? But apparently in Pokemon Legends, it just, you couldn't see any of the background, like the world, from a long ways away until you got fairly close to it. They would just default to like a generic like background scenery kind of thing, right? That ruins immersion a bit. And to the same effect, like it's open world, right? So you're running around, they're like wild Pokemon, wild animals everywhere. But apparently they just didn't act like what you would expect wild Pokemon or to be doing out in the world. They looked very computer controlled, very AI controlled, and that ruined immersion for a lot of people as well, from what I understand. So hopefully they will continue to improve upon that kind of stuff. We love immersion in our games. We want to be, that's why we play those kinds of games. We want to get lost in it. We want to feel like we're there and a part of that world. And when there are things within the world that don't seem realistic, it kind of kills it for people, right? So hopefully they'll continue to improve. Again, I'm not saying that people didn't enjoy Pokemon Legends Arceus. It just seems like they have a ways to go with improving that open world experience for people, right? This will be the last article that I found this morning. If anybody has anything else they want to bring to my attention, please let me know. I will, after I end the news segment here, we'll watch Lies of P trailer, okay? Anyway, I brought that up earlier during the Bloodborne talk. It looks really cool, and we'll watch it as soon as I finish this. Yo, Syke, what's up, buddy? You lurk away, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Groups urge U.S. to probe loot box on EA Arts video game. We've had a lot of loot box gambling kind of talk here recently. Washington consumer advocates on Thursday, June 2nd, urged U.S. regulators to investigate video game maker EA for the misleading use of a digital loot box that aggressively urges players to spend more money while playing a popular soccer game. The group's Fair Play, Center for Digital Democracy, and 13 other organizations urged the Federal Trade Commission to probe the EA game FIFA Ultimate Team. EA has Ultimate Team in like all of their sports games too. Hockey, football, you name it. They've got these loot boxes in the Ultimate Team stuff. It's always been considered to me to be a very scammy kind of situation. In the game, players build a soccer team using avatars of real players and compete against other teams. In a letter to the FTC, the group said the game usually costs $50 to $100, but that the company would push players to spend more while they played. Yeah, they have forever now. I love, they've been doing this for years. It's one of the reasons I quit playing NHL. I loved the NHL games, and I saw this kind of thing coming from EA. They were incorporating this kind of stuff. They got away from focusing on improving club play and got to where all they cared about was this hockey Ultimate Team stuff. And I was like, I'm done, dude. EA is such a scam. It entices players to buy packs in search of special players, said the letter sent by these groups along with the Consumer Federation of America and Massachusetts Council on Gaming and Health and others. The packs or loot boxes are packages of digital content sometimes purchased with real money, quite often purchased with real money. They give the purchaser a potential advantage in a game. They can be purchased with digital currency, which can obscure how much is spent, they said. The chances of opening a coveted card such as a Player of the Year are minuscule, unless a gamer spends thousands of dollars on points or plays for thousands of hours to earn coins, the group said in the letter. The letter also linked the loot boxes to gambling. Absolutely. It's like any other gacha game. You know, you're gambling, most of the time paying money to try to pull those lucrative, very high sought after, low chance players, right? The other thing about the what they've done in these games is that what you're doing is competing against other players, right? In these promoted league Ultimate Team experiences. It's not just enough to pull those players. Those players have contracts as well. And you have to have renewable contract cards by buying more packs to continue to have those players available to play on your team. They've really, really made it to where people just continue to have to buy if they want to play in that league or that mode of the game. In some cases, young people who have already developed problem gambling behaviors seek out games with loot boxes. For others, loot boxes are a gateway to problem gambling, they wrote. The FTC, which goes after companies that engage in deceptive behavior, held a workshop on loot boxes in 2019. In a staff perspective, which followed, the agency noted that video game microtransactions have become a multi-billion-dollar market. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Again, we talked about this recently. What's the play here? You know, to an extent, there are a lot of people in the world that have issues with gambling. And one of the solutions, we talked about this recently because of Diablo Immortal, which is releasing, has been banned in Belgium and the Netherlands, right? And one of the things we came across was that, the discussion is, do we need to have overarching, organizations that try to prevent us from even having access to that? Yo, Varia, what's up? Morning, more or less. It's my morning. How are you, buddy? How are you? Is this something that should be just handled on an individual level, right? And that's a tough thing because it's a matter of there are an amount of people in the world that don't have issues with gambling. There's an amount of people that absolutely have issues with gambling, right? And they get very sucked into these kinds of scummy kind of incorporations in games. And so, one of the things our buddy Pinky brought up was, set a limit. Set a limit that people can only buy so many or spend so much money or what have you, in a monthly time period or something like that. And that could work. But I mean, then we're talking about, who regulates that? It's not going to be the game maker. The game maker is going to try to make as much money as possible. So it would ultimately have to be government agencies, and it would still be different for each respective country or governing body to take a look at what that threshold is, and I don't know what the answer is. I think that a lot of people can ultimately agree that there is a problem within gaming currently when it comes to gambling type of mechanics that are incorporated in most games today. Whether it be loot boxes or gotcha gaming, I mean, it's across the board. There's all kinds of it, right? And I don't know what the solution is, but it is what we can agree on, I think, is that it's very bad for people that have an issue with gambling. And it can be very detrimental to their well-being. And it's definitely something that we need to be paying attention to. And a lot of people that don't have issues with gambling are going to see this as like an infringement on their rights of being able to spend money the way they want to spend money. And I can understand that. Being somebody that doesn't really have issues with gambling, I can understand that. But I do think it's important that we try to protect those people that do have issues. And I don't know. We'll continue to have these kinds of discussions and flesh out this because it's very prominent in gaming nowadays, and it's going to keep coming up in our news segments, right? And I don't know. We'll keep addressing it's. EA's been doing this forever. EA has been leading the charge as far as like microtransactions and trying to, get as much money as they can out of their consumers as possible. It's not enough to just spend $60 on the game. Then they want you to spend more and more and more incrementally to play the game modes within those games. They've been doing it forever now, over a decade for sure. And where's that point where it needs to, stop and have people be protected and have other people not feel like they're having their rights and the ways they decide to spend their money to not be infringed upon. It's a tough situation. We've talked about it a lot here lately. I'll stop there. Let me know. I mean, if you guys, I'm always up for conversation, and quite often people are going to see things from a different perspective than I will, and that's good. It's good to have those conversations and to really flesh out these kinds of issues. So either while we continue in our gaming segment moving forward, if we want to talk about it, I'm game. If you want to just leave some comments in the news segment on YouTube, so we can have some conversation, then please do. On that note, we'll be moving on to our gaming segment, but if you are viewing this as a VOD on YouTube and you're enjoying the content, then please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and see what you can do about coming and hanging out with us when we do these live every single day at the beginning of the stream, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, okay? On that note, we're going to go play some Valheim after we watch Lies of P trailer, okay? But if you are checking this out on YouTube, then, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for our next segment of video gaming news. All right, guys?